It has certainly been a busy week in the political world with the coronavirus and the way the response to stop the spread of it is being funded.
Yeah, Pat Callahan is here talking with Senator Susan Collins, who is in our studio in Bangor, talking much more about this issue. Hey, Pat.
Thanks, Lee and Lindsay. Senator Collins, thanks for being with us tonight. The congressional delegation is unanimous in saying that it's a bad idea to take $37 million in low-income heating assistance money to help pay for the coronavirus program. My question is, what can you do about it?
Well, the Appropriations Committee is going to be meeting next week, and I'm going to be pushing for $3.1 billion to help fight the coronavirus. This is the amount that the state's CDC directors have said is necessary. It's higher than the $2.8 billion that the president has requested, and it would be new money. It would not be money taken from the low-income housing assistance program.
So you're confident that that money will stay in the LIHEAP program?
I am confident that it will either stay or be restored. It's important to note that Maine, as of today, has received 99% of the allocation under this important program to help low-income people pay their heating bills. And the money that the president has proposed to take can be restored through the supplemental, but it's a bad idea to take money from the LIHEAP program.
Do you think the Trump administration or the president himself has left us vulnerable to an epidemic by either proposing cuts to staffing and money for the nation's health organizations, or by constantly and frequently undermining those organizations?
Well, the president ought to listen to the experts, and the experts are at the Centers for Disease Control. I visited the CDC in Atlanta. I know many of the top officials, and they are terrific. That's the advice that he should take.
I would note that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would note that the cuts that the president proposed in the past have never been approved by the Congress. We fully funded the CDC.
Well, let me ask you about another matter. The Senate has unanimously passed your bill to reauthorize the Respite Care Act. It now goes to the House. What would that mean for Mainers if it's ultimately enacted?
This program potentially is so important to the state of Maine because we are the oldest state in the nation by median age. All of us have parents or grandparents where we see one spouse taking care of the other through a serious illness like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, and there's not enough respite care in this state to give those caregivers a break. They need some time for themselves because otherwise taking care of a loved one with a serious illness exacts a tremendous toll on the health and emotional well-being of the caregiver. So this will provide $10 million per year for each of the next 5 years for grants for community-based organizations to help provide a break for caregivers.
In your re-election campaign, there has been much talk about corporate money and PACs. Do you regret that candidates have to take this kind of money? Is corporate money in and of itself a bad thing?
Well, first, it's important to note that corporate PAC money is not corporate money. It's legally segregated. It comes from the employees of a corporation. I find it ironic that my opponent, for example, who has received direct corporate money to her leadership PAC, is trying to make this such an issue. Angus King takes corporate PAC money, Shelley Pingree takes corporate PAC money, and the further irony is that a married couple can give more money than a candidate can receive from a corporate PAC, despite the fact that that corporate PAC may be representing hundreds or even thousands of employees. The important part is that it be fully disclosed. And of course, I would also note that the majority of my money comes from individuals.
Ultimately, do you think voters care about this, or do they look at other things when choosing a candidate?
I think they look at the effectiveness of the person who is representing them, and I have a proven record of taking care of the state of Maine and putting Maine's interests first always, no matter what the issue is.
Are you planning to vote in Tuesday's presidential primary, and will you be supporting President Trump or writing in someone else as you did in 2016?
I have voted by absentee ballot just to make sure that I voted. And I would note that it's on the Democratic side that there are 8 candidates, and my likely opponent, as well as the governor and many other Democratic officials, have not said who they are going to choose and what is a contested Democratic ballot. I'm focused on my job and also on my own campaign, and I'm just not going to get involved in presidential politics.
All right, Senator Susan Collins, thanks very much. Appreciate your time. Lee and Lindsay.
Thank